Greetings watch nerds, and it's time to talk watches. Thank you for joining. First of all, I'd like to point out that this is the first video that's going to be hosted both on my YouTube channel and my IGTV channel, but also on Scottish Watches' channel as well. Big shout out to Ricky and Rick. Subscribe to their podcast, it's really fun and sometimes contains some interesting and updated watch information. Have you been ever looking for a watch on which you could change the case, the bezel, the dial, the strap on a whim without having to send it to the watchmaker? You have? Then I have just the thing for you, the Custom Mark I fully customizable watch. The Custom Mark I is a fully designed in Italy watch powered by Miyota quartz movement. If you don't like quartz, please change video. It was created by 4 very young designers who came up with the idea to create a relatively affordable watch that could be customized at home without the use of any tools in seconds. If you head over to their website, you can find out for yourself the gargantuan amount of combinations that are possible from the available options. As you can see, the possible combinations are staggering and can only increase with the introduction of new modules, bezels, cases, etc, etc. Keep watching that space for any news. Before getting into the nitty-gritty of the review, this watch was sent to me for review by Custom and I don't have to send it back. So don't just take my word for it. I encourage you to scour the internet for any other reviews before parting with your hard-earned dough. So without any more fannying around, let's get into the light tent and see what's what. Okay, here's what I got from the manufacturer. A main box, some extra modules. Let's do a quick unboxing and see what we've got. Okay, so that's what I got. I got 2 dials, 1 case, 2 bezels, a metal bracelet and a black leather bracelet with a finishing of the buckle the same as the steel case. Now we can try and make one watch. The minimum components we need are 1 dial, 1 bezel, 1 case and either the strap or the bracelet. So let's do that. What if we were to change our mind and want something else? Maybe we want to swap out the strap for a bracelet, wanted a different bezel. It's pretty easy. All it takes is doing everything in reverse order. So I'll try that. I'll try putting on the bracelet. Let's change everything. And there you have it. Not the best of combos admittedly, but I suppose somebody may like it. The swap around was pretty easy. Leather bracelet's very easy to exchange for another leather bracelet, and I suppose you can get quick release canvas and leather bracelets in an aftermarket. So what's it like on the wrist? I think for my 18cm standard sized wrist it looks pretty good. It wears well. It wears maybe a little large because of the way the lugs are shaped. On the metal bracelet it wears slightly larger than the leather because the center part of the metal bracelet does protrude just a little bit. I think it wears pretty well anyway. If you have a more slender wrist, the leather strap will wear better in those cases. And it's quite thin, only 9mm, and I think the bracelet's pretty good looking. The butterfly clasp disappears into the bracelet, you can hardly see it. I think that's quite nice. And the bracelet is incredibly comfortable, even though it is a bit jingly jangly. It won't pull any hairs and it's incredibly comfortable to wear. Let's try for a close-up. The wearability, I think, is good to very good. And on the leather bracelet with the submarine style dial, I think it wears perfectly. The bracelet goes down pretty well on the sides of your wrist, it hugs it very well, and the buckle is really nice. It's very well finished. Let's see if I can close up a bit. There we go. Unfortunately, black is the only color they have from the get-go. I think that looks absolutely cracking. Let's give this watch some marks. The review consists of 12 categories and an overall score at the end, which isn't necessarily the arithmetic average of the single scores. I will have a little leeway in giving more or less depending on what I think, if the watch has potential or not. So let's start with fit and finish. Generally, the watch is very well finished. It has very well good brushing. The tolerances on the alignment between the case and the dial and the bezel are very, very good. They're very tight. The end links on the metal bracelet are extremely well machined and will fit and not move at all. In the area of the originality, the watch gets top marks. I haven't seen anything like this on the market, especially at this price point. The only watch I've seen that looks anything like this is a watch that starts at 3,000 euros, is an automatic movement, Swiss movement, and you can't be considered a viable competitor to this watch. Top marks there, well done custom. The case has a nice shape. The lugs are not too small, they're quite large and don't taper down very much, but the case design is quite original. And when it's matched together with the bezel and the bracelet or strap, it has a look that is both elegant on the strap and sporty on the metal bracelet. Dimension-wise, the watch is a pretty standard 41mm with a 20mm lug width and a 45mm lug-to-lug. I think the watch dimensions, it may look a little larger than its actual dimensions are. It may weigh just a little larger than the 41mm. But on my 18-inch wrist, it's hardly noticeable. The good thing about it is having a quartz movement makes it very thin. It's 9mm and it will really just disappear into your wrist. The dial hands have a very good level of finish. There is a crinkle effect on the paint. The dial has a matte black, but not matte black in the sense that it's flat. It's a crinkle effect. And the printing is sharp, but does suffer a bit from the crinkle effect of the dial, so it's not as sharp as it could be. The hand finishing is very good on both the hour and the minute hands. They're sword hands, and it has a small white tip to an arrow seconds hands. It has batons at 3, 6 and 9 and a triangle at 12. The rest of the watch is printed. It doesn't have any, it has a very, very lightly colored grey rail track at the minutes and a stronger, whiter, longer indice at the 5-minute. Unfortunately and very disappointingly, this watch does not have loomed hands or loomed dial or loomed indices. So I give it a very angry face here. 0 marks. I'm sorry. I think they should have put loom in this watch. They didn't, and I'm a big loom addict, so I'm a little biased on this. But come on, Custom. Next watch, put loom. Put loads of it in, please. Like the loom, a little disappointingly, this watch only has a mineral glass crystal, but on the good side it has AR coating on both the top and the bottom of the crystal. It's a dead flat crystal, it's well finished and it mates very well with the bezel, but it's a mineral crystal, so that may put some people off. I'm only giving it 2.5. It would have been a 2 if it only had no AR coating, but it's pretty good AR coating and it does enhance readability in difficult lighting situations. Both the bracelet and the strap are well finished products, more the strap than the bracelet. The strap has a good soft leather, Italian leather. The buckle is very well finished, it's very tight. The rapid release spring bars work perfectly. The bracelet is a well finished product, but it is a bit wobbly. It will put some people off the first time they pick it up, and it has, the clasp is a little hard to open and close at the beginning, but I think that wobbliness, those loose tolerances, actually make the bracelet a very, very comfortable piece to wear. When you have it on, you hardly notice that you do. Regarding wearability, this watch wears very well unless you have a very, very small wrist. I'm an 18 centimeter wrist and it wears well. Anything from 17 to 18 and a half I think will be perfect. It wears slightly better on the leather strap than it does on the metal bracelet, because the metal bracelet has a solid end link with a slight protruding center, which will make it wear slightly larger. For brand, we only give a 2. The brand is very new. It hasn't had the time to be accepted or known on the larger market, so we can only wait for a few months, see how it goes. For now, it's virtually unknown. I give a 2 for encouragement, because the guys who set the company up only did it in 4 months. They must be commended for that. It's been a very difficult thing to do, and I think that they can only do better if they continue on this road. Well, I think this is quite a cool watch. It will be noticed. It's not flashy in any way, unless you put on the full gold case, bezel, bracelet and everything else. Otherwise, I think it's quite understated, but it's the kind of watch that somebody may stop and ask you about. You can wear this watch with confidence, knowing that you will stand out in a crowd without being too show-offy. And here comes the hard part, price. Now, this watch is priced starting from €200 in a basic configuration that includes a case, a bezel, a dial, and a nylon strap, a black nylon strap, all the way up to €280, and that would give you the full gold PVD version with gold bezel, gold case, and a gold bracelet. I think that's stretching it a bit. The brand is virtually unknown, and I would have preferred to see a lower price, also taking into account the shortcomings of the watch, which are the mineral glass crystal, the unloomed dial, and the quartz movement. Now, I wouldn't consider the quartz movement a shortcoming per se, but it is something that should have driven the price down just a little more. On the plus side, the design is original, it's patented, it's something that's not usually seen. I have to give them a little leeway on the pricing side, so I think 3 is fair. I would have given them 3 plus or 4 if the price would have been 20, 30 euros lower than what they're asking, but I can only hope that with economies of scale and a larger production, the price may come down in the future. Conclusions. As an overall score, I give 3 plus. The actual average of all the scores above was more closer to 3.2. I will give a little more as an overall score, because I think as a first product, it is very good. It has a lot of potential to become an interesting piece and also a popular one. I'm also being told by the founders of the company that they are thinking of doing new things, maybe a chrono. They may think of adding an automatic movement. If things pick up as it stands, they will stick to quartz. In the future, they will slowly make new models. It all depends on how the watch garners acceptance on the market. So there it is, the Custom Mark I, an interesting and good-looking little watch. It's fun to experiment and play around with all its components. It's well finished, robust, wears well, and while not extremely aggressively priced given the quartz movement, is justified by its innovative and quite original format. My major niggle is the absence of loom. Custom, listen to Uncle Gigi. Put a ton of loom in your next dial module. If you like, there's also a written review on the Scottish Watches website that goes into a little more detail. I'll be dropping the review in the description below. Thank you for watching. As always, remember to like and follow and drop any comments below. It really helps the channel to take off. Also, please feel free to check out my Instagram account. There are lots of great pictures on it. I'm sure you'll like them. Lots of loom shots for all you loom addicts out there. And also, if you like, there's a couple of more reviews on my YouTube channel. Some interesting watches. Please feel free to check those out as well. See you in the next one, watch nerds.